First, we have the G protein receptor system. At the beginning, a signal protein, or a ligand, comes from outside the cell membrane and attaches to the G protein link receptor, which causes a G protein to come towards it. The G protein then changes its GDP to GTP and becomes activated. The activated G protein then goes to an inactive enzyme and activates it. After activation, the G protein goes back to its inactive state and the GTP turns into GDP. Then the enzyme goes through the signal transduction pathway and it changes a membrane lipid, PIP2, into IP3. IP3 is a second messenger. The IP3 goes to the ER and causes the gates to open and release the calcium ions into the cell. Next is the tyrosine kinase receptor system. It starts when a signal protein comes from outside the plasma membrane and attaches to a tyrosine kinase receptor. When two tyrosine kinase receptors are activated, they come together and form a dimer. Then ATP goes to the ends of the dimer and it phosphorylates the tyrosine. Then the ATP becomes ADP and the dimer is activated because it's phosphorylated. Then the phosphorylated dimer causes inactive relay proteins to turn active. These active relay proteins then go through the signal transduction pathway, which then leads to the gates being opened on the ER after the enzyme bonds to it. In a cell that is not affected by anthrax, first the ligand attaches to a G protein receptor. The G protein then goes and activates adenylyl cyclase. The adenylyl cyclase turns ATP into CAMP, and the CAMP then goes down and activates an enzyme. The enzyme then can be used to activate a cellular process, which in this case is opening the gates of the ER. Symptoms for anthrax include small raised sores or blisters, nausea, loss of appetite, fever, achy muscles, cough, fatigue, or shaking. Anthrax is diagnosed by taking antibiotics for about 60 days. In a cell affected by anthrax, the process starts in the same way when the ligand attaches to the G protein receptor and the G protein activates the adenylyl cyclase. However, the adenylyl cyclase has its shape changed by the anthrax poison, so it's not able to turn ATP into CAMP. This means that the cell cannot finish its cellular function.